Assalamualaikum and good morning to Mr. Azlan and Mrs. Nadia.
Waalaikumsalam.
So, sir, how are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well.
And madam, how are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm also doing well.
Okay, good. Thank you to both parties for being willing to attend and for giving cooperation today. I understand that the situation faced may be difficult and may give emotional challenges to both parties. However, your attendance today shows readiness and commitment to discuss and strive to find the best solution peacefully through the Sulh process. I also hope that we can discuss in a calm and respectful atmosphere so that we can achieve a mutual agreement. Alright, before we continue this session, allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Zamri bin Abdullah. I am a Sulh officer who will be conducting today's Sulh session. Before we begin the discussion, I would like to assure you that this session will be conducted professionally and impartially. As a certified mediator, I have undergone training and have skills in conducting mediation processes and assisting parties to negotiate in a calm and harmonious atmosphere. Okay? My experience serving as a Sulh officer is about 10 years, and throughout that period, I have handled various family cases such as maintenance claim, child custody rights, and matrimonial parties and others. So for the information of Mr. Azlan and Mrs. Nadia, I'm not siding with any party. I'm not the lawyer of the husband nor the wife. Okay, my role is only as a neutral intermediary who assists both parties to discuss properly in order to reach a mutual agreed settlement. I will also not make any decision on behalf of you both. If an agreement is reached, that discussion is entirely the result of mutual agreement between Mr. Azlan and Mrs. Nadia. So does everyone understand my role?
Yes, I understand. I understand also.
Okay, thank you with that. I hope throughout this session we can discuss openly, honestly, and with good intention. Okay, today's session is a Sulh session, which is a form of alternative dispute resolution practiced in the Sharia court. Sulh is a method of dispute resolution through negotiation and settlement. In this process, I will give both parties that opportunity to explain their views, feelings, and interests alternately. After that, I will assist Mr. Azlan and Mrs. Nadia to identify the issue in dispute. Listen to both parties' views fairly and subsequently help to find a solution that can be mutually agreed upon. At the beginning of this session, I will give both parties the opportunity to explain their respective situation without interruption. After that, I will ask several questions to obtain a clear picture regarding the issue of outstanding maintenance claim. Okay? Next, we will discuss several settlement options that can be considered by both parties to resolve this issue together. If an agreement is successfully reached, the agreement will be recorded as a Sulh settlement agreement for further action according to the procedures of the Sharia court. However, if no agreement is reached, the matter will proceed to the trial process. I would also like to share some advantages of the Sulh process. Among them, Sulh saves time because both parties do not need to go through a trial process, which usually takes a longer time. In addition, it also saves costs for both parties. Sulh is also conducted in a more relaxed and informal atmosphere, thus allowing both parties to express their views more comfortably. In addition, this process prioritizes confidentiality. So, all discussion will not be disclosed to outsiders. Most importantly, Sulh gives both parties the opportunity to reach a win-win situation. Okay? So this means no party is forced to accept a decision because the settlement reached is the result of mutual agreement and made voluntarily. Okay? Okay? Before we continue, I would like to set several basic rules so that our discussion can proceed smoothly. Firstly, I kindly request that both parties' mobile phone be placed on silent mode to avoid disruption throughout this session. Secondly, when one party is speaking, I hope the other party will allow them to finish speaking without interruption. Thirdly, I hope both parties speaks using polite and respectful language even if there are differences in views and feelings. Fourthly, I kindly request both parties to listen carefully and give full attention to what is being conveyed by other party. Okay? And lastly, I hope both parties give good cooperation throughout the session and are willing to consider every suggestion with an open mind. Now, before we continue the session, I would like to ask Mr. Azlan, do both parties understand all the explanation I have given and agree to comply with all the rules throughout this session?
Yes, I understand and agree.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Ms. Nadia?
Yes, I also agree and understand the rules.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you for the cooperation given. With that, we have completed the introduction to today's Sulh session. So I will continue with next stage of the process where each party will have the opportunity to explain their perspective in greater detail. Okay?
Okay, now that we have completed the introduction and both of you understand the purpose of today's Sulh session, we'll move to the next stage of the mediation. Mrs. Nadia, since you are the claimant, I would like to invite you to begin. Please tell us what happened, how this situation has affected you, and what outcome you hope to achieve today.
Thank you, Ustaz. For your information, Encik Azlan has not paid maintenance for 8 months. Throughout that period, I had to bear all of our children's expenses on my own. It has had a significant impact on both my financial situation and my emotionally well-being because I have had to ensure that the children's daily needs and schooling continue as usual.
Thank you, Mrs. Nadia. May I seek a little clarification? When did Mr. Azlan stop making maintenance payment?
As of today, it has been approximately 8 months. Before that, Mr. Azlan did make the payments, but after he encountered problems, the payment stopped.
Alright, what has been the greatest impact that you have experienced during that period?
The thing I would worry about the most is the children. I need to pay their school fees, buy books, clothes, food, and various daily necessities. There were times when I had to borrow money from my family to cover the expenses.
Oh, I understand. What do you hope to achieve through today's session?
I do not intend to make things difficult for Mr. Azlan. I only want him to fulfill his responsibility towards the children maintenance. If he is genuinely facing financial difficulties, I want him to discuss it with me and show his commitment to setting the outstanding maintenance.
Alright, thank you for your explanation, Mrs. Nadia. Now, Mr. Azlan, you have listened carefully to Puan Nadia's explanation. Now, I would like to give you the opportunity to present your statement. As agreed, I kindly request that Mrs. Nadia refrain from interrupting until Mr. Adlan has finished giving his explanation.
Alright, thank you, Ustaz. First of all, I acknowledge that there are indeed outstanding maintenance payments, but I never intended to neglect my responsibility towards the children. But my financial situation over the past few months has been very difficult.
Thank you, Mr. Adlan. Mr. Adlan, could you explain the factors that caused your financial situation to become difficult?
My income decreased after the company where I work reduced its workforce. At the moment, I only work part-time, so my income is inconsistent every month.
Alright, what is your current financial situation? Do you have any other source of income?
At the moment, I only depend on that job. I have brought my salary slips and bank statements as proof of my current income.
Thank you, Mr. Adlan. What solution do you hope to achieve through today's Sulh session?
I hope that Mrs. Nadia can give me some time. I'm willing to pay the outstanding maintenance by installment according to my current financial ability. I sincerely want to resolve this matter without enforcement action by the court.
Thank you, Mr. Adlan. Alright, based on what I have heard from both parties, allow me to summarize the matter to ensure that I have understood it correctly. Mrs. Nadia stated that there has been an outstanding maintenance payment for 8 months, which has caused her to bear the children's expenses on her own. Her priority is to ensure that the children's basics, needs and education continue to be provided for. Meanwhile, Mr. Azlan acknowledged that the outstanding maintenance does exist. However, he explained that his failure to make the payments was due to financial difficulties and not because he was unwilling to fulfill his responsibility. He also expressed his intention to settle the outstanding maintenance in a manner that is compatible with his current financial ability. Therefore, I observed that both parties actually share the same objective, which is to ensure the welfare of the children. The difference lies in the method and ability of payment. If my summary is accurate, we may proceed with the Sulh session to determine whether there is a form of settlement that can be agreed upon by both parties. Would both of you agree with that summary?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you to Mrs. Nadia and Mr. Azlan for the explanation that has been given. Since both parties acknowledge that there is still a dispute, I would like us to begin discussing possible solutions. Mrs. Nadia, based on your claim, what settlement are you seeking?
Thank you, Ustaz. I only want my children's rights to be fulfilled. I request that Mr. Azlan pay maintenance of 1,500 ringgit per month, including payment of the outstanding maintenance that has been overdue for 8 months. In my view, that amount is reasonable because the cost of the children's schooling, food, clothing, and daily necessity continue to increase.
Alright, thank you, Mr. Azlan, what is your view on that proposal?
Honestly, I understand the children's need and I do not deny them. However, with my current financial situation, I genuinely cannot afford to pay 1,500 ringgit per month. Based on my current income, I can only afford 800 ringgit per month.
Alright, I see. Mr. Azlan proposed a payment of 800 per month due to his current financial constraints. Mrs. Nadia, what is your view on Mr. Azlan's proposal?
To be honest, I cannot accept it, Ustaz. 800 ringgit is simply not enough. The school expenses alone are already high, not including food, clothing, and other necessities. For 8 months, I have borne everything on my own. And now, you are only offering 800 ringgit?
Do you think I deliberately refuse to pay? I have told you many times that I really cannot afford it. If I had the money, I would have paid it long ago.
If you really can't afford it, then why do I still see you going on holidays and buying things for yourself? The children are the ones who have to bear the consequences.
Don't make any assumptions. You don't know my actual situation. Everything I do has its reason.
I'm not making assumption. I'm only looking what has happened. All I know is that the children maintenance has still not been paid.
You only think about yourself. You never even try to understand the pressure that I'm facing right now. I understand my responsibility towards the children. It's not that I don't, but I also hope you can try to understand the situation and the pressure that I'm going through.
Mr. Azlan, Mrs. Nadia, please and please. I understand that both of you have their own feelings and concerns. However, I would like to remind both parties of the ground rules that we have agreed upon earlier. Please allow one another to speak without interruption. Alright, thank you. At this stage, I can see that both parties have different views regarding what would be considered an appropriate settlement. Such differences in opinion are common in the Sulh process, and I appreciate the openness shown by both parties in expressing their respective position. Nevertheless, I need to ensure that this Sulh session remains calm, orderly, and conducive, so that we can continue our discussion towards finding the best possible point of agreement. Since no mutual agreement has been reached between both parties, I'm of the view that it would be more appropriate for me to meet each party separately first in order to gain a deeper understanding of their respective interests and available options before we continue with the joint negotiation. Thank you for your cooperation.
Mrs. Nadia and Mr. Azlan, I appreciate both of you to expressing your concerns honestly today. From our discussion, I have noticed that the conversation has become increasingly tense, making it difficult for both parties to reach an agreement. Rather than continuing the joint discussion at this moment, I would like to proceed with a caucus session. Okay, a caucus is a private meeting conducted separately between the mediator and each party. It provides each of you with an opportunity to speak openly and comfortably with the mediator without interruption from the other party. The purpose of this meeting is not to persuade either party to accept any proposal. Rather, it is to gain a clearer understanding of your concerns and priorities and to assess whether there is any possibility of compromise. Mr. Azlan, would you mind waiting outside for a few minutes while I have a private discussion with Mrs. Nadia?
Okay, I will wait outside.
Thank you for your patience, Mrs. Nadia. Could you please tell me what concerns you the most?
To be honest, I feel deeply disappointed and hurt because I have had to shoulder all the financial responsibilities and parental duties on my own. For the past 8 months, I have been managing all the household expenses, the children's school fees, and their daily necessities without any consistent financial support. Sometimes I have had to cut back so much that it has affected the children's basic needs. What saddens me the most is that I feel this responsibility has not been taken seriously, even though it directly affects the children's welfare and future. I am not asking for anything excessive. I simply want a clear commitment and for him to fulfill the responsibilities that are rightfully his.
I understand. From what you have shared, it seems that your main concerns are the financial burden you have been carrying alone, the emotional stress you are experiencing, and your worries about your children's welfare and future. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly, Star. Sometimes I feel that Mr. Azlan doesn't really care about the children's needs and well-being.
Thank you for sharing that. May I ask you something, Mrs. Nadia? If Mr. Azlan sincerely acknowledged the financial difficulties that you and the children have been facing and demonstrate a genuine commitment to repaying the 8 months of outstanding child maintenance through a structured payment plan, would that help you feel more reassured and open to reaching an settlement?
Maybe if he is genuinely committed to paying in installment according to an agreed schedule, I would consider accepting it. But I need to be sure that these are not just empty promises. I need certainty so that the children will not continue to be affected again and again.
I understand. Earlier, you request that Mr. Azlan pay 1,500 ringgit per month in child maintenance. May I ask what the amount represents to you?
The 1,500 is my estimate of the children's essential monthly expenses, including food, education, and daily living costs. In my opinion, that is the minimum amount needed to meet their basic needs every month. I think so.
So, your priority is to ensure that the children's basic needs are consistently met every month. Is that correct? Considering that Mr. Azlan says he can only afford around 800 ringgit per month, would you be willing to consider a missed payment arrangement? For example, a lower monthly maintenance payment combined with a structured installment plan to settle the outstanding maintenance?
Ustaz, I don't want my children to continue suffering. If that is the only practical solution available, I'm willing to consider it, as long as the payment are made consistently and there are no further delays.
Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate your openness. Would you mind waiting outside for a moment while I invite Mr. Azlan back in? Thank you for waiting, Mr. Azlan. I would like to give you the opportunity to explain your situation more clearly. Please feel free to share anything you would like regarding this matter.
Honestly, I understand why Mrs. Nadia is upset, but I feel that she is blaming me for everything. That 1,500 ringgit monthly demand really shocked me, and I simply cannot afford that amount.
So, your main concern is not the obligation to pay child maintenance itself, but rather the amount being claimed. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. I feel that the amount is too high given my current financial situation.
May I ask what you would consider to be a reasonable settlement?
I am prepared to pay 800 ringgit per month, for the current child maintenance. As for the 8 months of outstanding maintenance, I can only afford to pay an additional only 200 ringgit per month in installment until the areas are fully settled.
Thank you, Mr. Azlan. I appreciate your cooperation. After speaking with each of you separately, I can see that although there are still differences, there is also potential for the compromise. With your permission, I would now like to bring both of you back together for a joint discussion to further explore possible solutions. Thank you both for your cooperation during the conversation. Based on our separate discussion, I have identified 2 key points. Mr. Azlan is proposed paying 800 ringgit per month as current site maintenance, together with an additional 200 ringgit per month to gradually settle the outstanding maintenance over the past 8 months. On the other hand, Mrs. Nadia has emphasized that children's monthly needs amount to approximately 1,500 ringgit and has stressed the importance of consistent payments without further delay. Our goal now is to find common ground that both parties can accept. Mrs. Nadia, based on Mr. Azlan's proposal, would you be willing to consider this payment arrangement provided that the payments are made consistently according to a clear schedule?
I am still worried about the stability of the payment, Ustaz. I don't want this to be delayed again like before. However, if there is a clear commitment and the payments are made consistently, I am willing to consider it.
That is a very positive development indeed. Mr. Azlan, would you be willing to provide a clear payment schedule, including a fixed payment date each month, to give Mrs. Nadia greater certainty?
Yes, Ustaz, I agree to follow a clear payment schedule, and I will do my best to ensure that the payments are made consistently every month.
Alhamdulillah. Based on your discussion, we have reached a preliminary agreement. Mr. Azlan will pay 800 ringgit per month as current site maintenance, while the outstanding maintenance for the past 8 months will be repaid through monthly installments of 200 ringgit. All payments shall be made consistently according to the schedule mutually agreed upon by both parties. Mrs. Nadia, are you willing to accept this as a temporary settlement for us to document?
Yes, Ustaz, I agree, provided that the agreement is genuinely honored and there are no further delays.
Thank you. Mr. Azlan, do you also agree to these terms?
Yes, Ustaz, I agree.
Excellent. First of all, I would like to congratulate both of you. Although today's session began with disagreement and strong emotions, both of you remain committed to the mediation process. In the end, you were able to reach a solution that works for both sides. This is exactly what Sulh is all about. It's resolving disputes peacefully through dialogue, cooperation, and mutual understanding. Now, I will prepare the Sulh agreement based on the terms that both of you have agreed upon. Before you sign it, let me briefly explain its legal effect. Once both parties voluntarily sign the Sulh agreement, it will be recorded by Syariah Court. After that, it becomes legally binding. If either party fails to comply with the agreement without a valid reason, the court may take the necessary legal steps to enforce it. Therefore, I encourage both of you to read the agreement carefully before signing it. If there is anything you don't understand, please let me know, and I will be happy to explain it. Alright, thank you.
Now that both parties have signed the agreement, our mediation session has officially come to an end. I would like to sincerely thank both of you for your patience, honesty, and cooperation throughout today's session. I also hope that today's experience has shown that many disputes can be resolved more effectively through respectful communication rather than a lengthy and stressful court process. Once again, congratulations on successfully reaching an agreement. With that, I hereby conclude today's session. Thank you once again for your cooperation and commitment throughout this process.
Thank you.
Thank you.